challenges of the tech industry and have succeeded through their hard work, resilience, and innovation. It will interest us to know that 95% of speakers and mentors are below 35, or maybe just above 35. And it is important that mentorship cannot be overstated. The guidance of the mentor can actually be the difference between one failing and also progressing. So I encourage us to embrace this invaluable opportunity to learn from these amazing individuals who have walked this path before most of us. Now, Southern Nigeria Youth Congress is the apex body that manages the voices of youth across the 17 states of the Southern region, which cuts across the Southwest, Southeast, and South-South. It was bettered in 2016, and our administration came on board in 2023. We have a very simple program, which is seeking out opportunities for our youth. We understand that 70% of our youth are gainfully engaged. It will help to curb and reduce youth resistance. And so Southern Nigeria Youth Congress is the tool which will be used to drive home these opportunities. Because the fact is, these opportunities are there, but it doesn't get down to our people, especially those in the villages, hinterlands, and creeks. So under our leadership, the Southern Nigeria can help seek out these opportunities and engage and empower our youth. By joining this mentorship program, you are part of the Southern Nigeria Youth Congress, and you are connected to a larger community of purpose-driven young Nigerians who share a common vision of creating change, not just change, but positive change. Southern Nigeria is not just an organization, it is a movement that is focused and dedicated with uplifting youth from the Southern region, advocating and defending our rights, supporting our personal and professional development. So I strongly urge each and every one of us to actively engage with Southern Nigeria Youth Congress in our various states, because we have presence across the 17 states of the Southern region. And by so doing, we'll have access to a network of like-minded individuals, opportunities, and we'll also be a part of a collective force that is committed to making positive and great impact in our region and our society. I am confident that through this program, we'll not only acquire skills to succeed in tech, but we'll also be inspired to think critically, innovate, and also lead. Like they say, the future is in our hands, and our opportunities are limitless. This is one of those opportunities, and I hope that from here on, we'll be able to carve out that positive future for each and every one of us. A special thanks to members of Southern Nigeria Youth Congress, special thanks to Colleague Stephen, Istanbul, Irene, Dan, and everyone that has supported this program and made it come to fruition. I appreciate each and every one of you and all the facilitators, mentors, speakers, both from the SA to the president. Thank you all. God bless you. It's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, President General, for that wonderful speech. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be on this journey with you. To all the ESCOs of the Southern Nigeria Youth Congress, the planning committee, those who made this program a success, I want to say a huge thank you to you all. As we commence the program today, I want to assure you that we have a host of speakers that will come and actually impart you with skills, knowledge beyond what you even imagine. So moving forward, we have the essay on ICT to the President of Nigeria. We have the essay on ICT and digital reform. That's Mr. Fernandez Marcus Obiene, who will be giving us an opening speech. This is someone from the presidency. It's a privilege to have you here. Thank you for honoring our invitation. So you have the floor, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon or good evening, rather. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me. Okay, I know that you can hear me because I can see the way you're looking.
Good
So,
evening.
well,
Good evening, sir.
first, I welcome you all to this event. I'm told I have 10 minutes starting from now, so I'm going to try and be brief. But what I'm going to do, rather, I'm supposed to just giving you gist is to tell you a story of how I started and where I am today, and where I'm going to in the future. The intention really is to tell you that growth can be made from wherever you are. So in 2010, I lost my mom. Then in the first, I think, elections in Miles State that they held, my dad contested, but he lost and he gave him one small position, so he was still feeling like a big man. Unfortunately for him, death did not like him very much. So death liked him very much. So by 2013, he had died too. So I was the first son with nobody, no money. I had four other siblings. Nobody, no money. I was about 13, 14 years, thereabouts. So I'm still a young person. So what did I do? So, I mean, um, at that point, I mean, there was nothing. You know how when your parents die when you're very young, people will tell you stories. They will say, don't worry, we'll help you. We'll do this, we'll do that. In reality, much of it is not done. So essentially at that time, from the age of 13, 14, well, I was, I didn't have, it's not now that we have a lot of tech skills. So I had zero, I had zilch, I had nothing, no skill. The only thing I had was my brain and my pride. And I had responsibilities. So for a couple of years, we'll wake up, we'll be angry, we'll think about it. Why is life so bad? Why is life treating us like this? Why is everybody beating me up? Why is this? Why is that? Why do I not have money? How come all my friends have money? I don't have money. Why did I have to die? So then one day I got a eureka moment. I realized that, okay, so life is not so much, yeah, lots of things will happen to you. But the most important thing is how you react. And when I say how you react, in the sense that there's no pause button in life that says, okay, we are going through trouble today. You will stop and then plan your life and then you will now restart again. No, as you are planning to improve yourself, you are going to continue the suffering. So one of the most significant things I learned at the time was to look beyond my suffering, because when you're suffering or going through stuff, it's easy for you to see, the future is beclouded. All you can see is, how can I eat tomorrow? That's the most significant thing that you can think about. How can I eat tomorrow? But then you're not thinking of, you're not thinking of, in the next 5 years, what do I want to be? I mean, the general excuse, and I agree with it, it's not wrong, is that you need to be alive for you to see the future, right? If you're dead, then there's really no future. So, that reason, people are struggling and then they're trying to. But one of the most significant things I learned at that time is that the long term is perhaps even more important than the short term. So what that meant is that throughout the university, when I wanted to do something, I can be hungry for months, I can be hungry for years. But if I wanted to save money for something, I will save that money and get the stuff done. So that's the most significant role. This one of the most significant things I can tell you now. Wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing, plan 5 years, 10 years from now, and decide what you want to be. That 5 years, 10 years from now. So once you've made up your mind about that 5 years, 10 years from now, now gauge yourself where you are. Realize that whatever it is you're doing today should be in respect of, should be towards getting that thing in 5 years, 10 years, Otherwise, everything you're doing is in vain. So you have to sit down after this meeting if you have not already done so. What do I want to be in 5 years? What do I want to be in 10 years? What do I want to do? So once you make up your mind that that's what you want to do, then you start taking action. And I expect you to write, but I don't want to go into all the details of that for now. So I started from there. Then I made up my mind. I realized that, okay, I had to do something with myself. Nobody was going to save me. Life is not a rehearsal. Like, I'm not rehearsing for my life. I'm living the life now. And if I die today, that's the end of my life. So it's not like I'm preparing for something else. And nobody's going to come from Adam Eve to save me. If there was any salvation, it had to be from me. So that was really how I moved forward from square zero. And once I made that realization, my life changed. So I'll be hungry. I will not eat for days. I will be whatever. But it didn't really bother me. I mean, it bothered me, but because I knew what I wanted to do, and I was realistic. I realized I'm starting from nowhere. So I made my expectations as to what I need. Yeah, what I should expect in the fight that, oh, I'll be hungry, or I will do this, I will do this. So I made up my mind that what's the worst that can happen. And I decided what the worst is, and I took on from there. So that made it easy. Now, as to tech, what are those things that we do or that make it easy for us to get into tech? So I'm a lawyer by trade. That's my work. I mean, after all the years of whatever it is I did, but I'm a lawyer by trade. But how am I in tech and how is it helping me? So very early on, I made up my mind that, okay, I think I have some tech sense. I had graphic design sense. I said, okay, if I can mix that my small tech sense with law, I can make a lot of money. So that's what I'm going to do in my life. That's my small niche. And I never thought small. I didn't think I was going to be the richest man in my village. I didn't think I was going to be the richest man in. At that time, I'd not traveled anywhere. I said I wanted to be one of the richest men in the world. Maybe not richest, but one of the most famous persons in the world, not in my village. So one of the things I heard and I was told when I was really young was our problem is not that we aim too high and miss it, but that we aim too low and miss it. So if you aim just to, because you are realistic, you're aiming for the low, well, you will hit it. But then if you aim high, so you want to shoot the stars, according to some people, and then you mistakenly hit the moon, you'll still be higher than a lot of your mates. You still have done a lot. So for me, dreaming big was not ever a problem. You know how some people in their minds they're thinking, ah, this thing is unreasonable. It doesn't make sense. How can I be thinking I want to be a billionaire when I don't have 15 naira in my pocket? So for me, it's never really been that. I've always made up my mind on what I want to do. Whatever, however crazy it is, I say that's what I want to do, and I start taking steps. So that's the most significant part. Don't be afraid to dream. Know that you can achieve those dreams. It may seem more realistic, but pursue it anyway. Even if you don't hit it, you get better. So anyway, I decided I was going to make my billions, become one of the most famous men in technology. So what's the next thing that I did? I learned a skill. The first thing was web design. I already knew graphic design to some extent, but I learned web design. How did I learn it? I went on YouTube. That was in 2013, 2014, 2015. I went on YouTube and watched videos on how to build websites on WordPress. Nobody taught me. Before you know it, I built my first website. I built my second website. Before you know, I was building websites for several people. At some point, I said, okay, since it's law and tech that I'm doing, I'm going to build for only lawyers and technology people. Lawyers, rather. So I started focusing on lawyers. Before you know, I had the MBA. The opportunities started coming because I made up my mind on what I wanted to do. So it was easy for the opportunities to come in. And then, of course, the second thing that I did was also I networked, because it's one thing to have a skill and it's one thing for people to know that you have that skill. So, I walk into the room, I'll go to the meeting, I'm a lawyer, so we have the MBA meetings every month. So I'll go at the beginning of the month, at the meeting every month, and I'll sit in front and I'll be gisting with those senior lawyers and I will dress really well. I'll be gisting with them. So they are knowing my name. They know who is this young guy, who is this fine young guy, packaging young guy. They always know me. So from then on, it was easy. So by the time they found out I was doing technology, they thought, this guy has to be very important for you to be sitting out in front and for you to be have all this packaging. So the work came easy. And as the work kept coming, I kept ensuring that I delivered to the highest level. I understood them and it was easy and I followed through that. And really, that's what has had me go here, come to where I am. And in all these instances, what I always did was I made sure I did not put money in front. I tell people that I slept on the road when I could have just asked my senior colleague to give me money for transport, and he would have given me. It wouldn't have been a big deal, but I said no. About 5 years after that, I slept on the road. After sleeping on the road, I became a partner in that person's firm. So provide value. I mean, that's the most significant thing. Keep providing value. Keep providing value. You may not make all the money today, but in providing that value, you get doors open and lots of things. I know I'm told I have 10 minutes, and it's just about 1 minute away, which is sad because there's quite a bit that can be said on this topic and there's quite a bit that can go on. But if you're going to take anything away from this conversation, is make a plan, make a decision on what you want to be 5 years, 10 years. Make a plan how you want to get that decision. What you want to be doesn't have to be immediately realistic, but you have to make it and believe you can get there. Then make a plan towards getting there. Network is not enough for you to know what you need to know. You have to also get people to know, the relevant people to know that what you're doing. Because you look at people like Hilda, you know that Hilda lady, the Hilda, the chef. Is it Hilda that's her name?
Yes, sir.
Yes, and then there's this other person that just went across the globe, of every continent of the globe. What's her name now? She's trending a bit nowadays. But these people did not just sit there and decide that they want to do it. So they decided they want to do it, and they went around to get the relevant people. They got the publicity people they needed. They got all that stuff. They got, so when you see it, it feels like you have done only, you can just make up your mind and do stuff. But the thing is, once you make up your mind, you have to also try to realize all the things you need to do to get to where you want to do, and you have to pursue them. And tech is relatively easy. We live in a tech world now. Artificial intelligence is going everywhere. If you go to Coursera, for example, you can learn a lot of courses. If you go to what's the name of this one? The Harvard X courses, there are lots of things. What's this one? There are a bunch of courses. Maybe I'll send them later. But there are a bunch of websites where you can learn free. You can even learn from YouTube, and in a couple of days to months, you become an expert at whatever it is you're doing. And rather than spending, so I would say this: before I got into government recently, I was already making my millions by myself. I mean, I bought my car, I had gotten married, and I did not marry poor. I did 2 sets of wedding. I mean, I wasn't particularly rich, but I was fine. But and it wasn't really from the law practice, really. It was from technology. So, and that was because I made up my mind, chose my path, and I continued realizing that I would die, things will happen. I made up my mind that whatever happened, I'm going to succeed. Anyway, if you give me 10 minutes, do you want to give me 5 more minutes? If you give me 5 more minutes, I'll say a bit more. But if not, I'll go back to
Sir, you have 5 more minutes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
okay. Okay. So yeah, so now the point, I've told you how I moved from square zero to one. So I found the skill, I watched on YouTube. I didn't have money to register. So I was just doing all those. That time they were doing Coursera courses, EDX courses, this thing. I would just learn them. Even though I could not pay for the certificate, I will audit the course. You just run through the course from beginning to end. I gained the skill. I learned about networking. I learned about web design. I learned about graphic design. I'm always learning new things. A second significant thing about this thing is it's not just enough, like I said, to learn. You have to provide value, and you have to let people know that you are good at what you're doing. So you're always looking for opportunities to provide value. You have an article, share it to everybody. Sometimes it's not even by writing the article. Sometimes it's just by sharing what other people have done. So there's a lady I know, she's always posting every article about technology. So in my mind, she's a technology person, even though I don't think she has the skills. So whenever I need, I go to her. I plan people's birthdays, send them birthday messages, sometimes even birthday gifts. I create associations. So a very significant example. So there's a group I created, Young Legal Professionals. And I created several years ago. I did not, at the time, I was not talking to anybody about getting work or responsibilities from them, but I just provided the value. Several years after, till today, if I need transactions, if I need to do anything, I can call any of them today and say, what's your firm doing? What's your law firm doing? You want to provide this service? I don't care what you're doing. I'm sending you my invoice. I'm sending you my bill. I'm coming to do this work next month. So just prepare your budget, that kind of thing. And I can have those conversations because I created those foundations. So that's a very significant thing that we need to learn and do. You don't have to be a master. I know sometimes you feel like you're not the best at what you're doing, but the truth is there's somebody out there who is doing less than you, but is making more money than you. So yeah, that's that. So you have to seriously believe in yourself, take the step. Again, I'm hurrying. You have to seriously believe in yourself, take the step, do what you need to do, get better consistently every day. Wake up in the morning, show up, do better. Now, I know that a lot of us are doing, I mean, not a lot of us, but a lot of people from the South, in fact, are doing a lot of Yahoo, and quite a bit of stuff. Now, the reality is that maybe we don't know, but there are still a lot of opportunities for making money in online that make you do it legally. If we put the kind of effort that a lot of these people put into doing stuff like that, we can actually make 2 times, 3 times. I know of a village in India where every family has at least one person who has a YouTube channel, a monetized YouTube channel. And then we have people who are about 5 or 6 or 7. I mean, I think about 7 of the people from that village who have become who have made their first million from YouTube. That's a very simple skill. And it's not these people, it's not like somebody took them somewhere. They realize, okay, there are different things. You can just pick up one niche, something that's interesting. And now with artificial intelligence, it's possible for you to be posting every day, even without doing anything. There are lots of them. There are lots of things like that. So you can take those steps. If you want further information on this, I think you can follow me on LinkedIn, or you can follow whoever it is you're following on LinkedIn. So as opposed to just watching naked women and cars and stuff on your Twitter, which you check, Twitter reads your algorithm. So if you're looking at naked women, it will show you more naked women. If you're looking at cars, it will show you more cars. Stop cut all those things. Yes, use your social media for good. When you go to social media, follow people who are doing technology related stuff, follow people who are creating, so follow people who are writing articles or certain things. You'd find that over a short period of time, that's what you're providing. And from that place, you're learning a lot more, and then you're developing. So you're learning. So when I open my I'm the finest. You can just search for my name, Fernandez Marcus Obiene. You find me everywhere. But when I open my LinkedIn or any of my social media account, whether it's Twitter, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Facebook, what I'm seeing today is this new AI has come, or this new law on AI. So I don't even, the opportunity for me to get distracted is not even there. Everything I see, because I deliberately created it. So you have to, so anytime you see one post of a naked girl, just pass. And you see one post of one car or one skit that you do, just pass. Look for those ones, focus your attention, follow. After a short while, you'll find that the only thing you see are those things that relate to the things you want. And before you know, you have become move from zero to one. I mean, I have like maybe a list of maybe 100, 200 things that relate to tech that I can do every day that can give me money. But I did not learn those things because I knew all of them at the beginning, but because I consistently avoided distractions and followed up. So, well, thank you all very much. I think I've spoken beyond my time. This is extra 6 minutes. So, thank you. I'm happy to take questions if the opportunity arises.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a great privilege to have you here. Uh, the huge number of participants that registered for this program, I'm sure they would have been so very much impacted with this your story, because oftentimes people think that everyone who is in politics tends to don't have a story like yours. But with this story that you just told us and with this words you just gave us, it just shows us that everybody has a story that they started from somewhere before they became who they are now. So we just want to thank you so much. Currently, the number of participants in this meeting is not as the number we expected. We have more than 1,000 people that registered, and people are just trickling in now. Hopefully, before the end of the today's section, we'll be able to have huge number of people, and there'll
No,
be a lot of
it happens sometimes when the program just starts, people just come in
yeah,
little by little.
definitely. So I don't know if we are starting with the best with you, because a lot of people would have loved to ask a lot of questions regarding how you are able to navigate from your legal career into tech, now into politics, the whole networking and everything that has to, like, it's a lot, because being a lawyer on its own is a lot. It takes a lot of stress, especially when you are in Nigeria, going through the Nigerian system and all that. You are not just a
Yes.
lawyer, you are a techie, a software developer, a graphic designer. You created an association, and now you are in politics. That's quite a lot. So there's quite a lot you can share with us. You can tell us. I don't know if you will be able to stay a bit more so that we can get to the Q&A sessions and people can ask questions and
Okay,
probably get to know.
I think you can call me when it's that time. I have to go somewhere. I told them already I had to go somewhere. But if you call me, maybe I'll move to somewhere quiet and I can ask the question. I can take the questions.
Okay, I guess the email we sent regarding the link to this meeting, we had some technical issues, but hopefully the technical issues will be resolved, because we had a very huge number of people that registered for this particular program, more than 1,000. Every day I
Okay.
get people making inquiries about when is the program starting, how am I going to join and all that. So hopefully before the end of the session today, we would have huge number of people. Yeah. Thank you very much. We'll get in touch with you when the Q&A session starts, and because I'm sure many persons have questions that would love to ask. All right. Okay, we have someone in the building, Mr. Mechanic. Good evening, sir. Please, you can unmute your mic. We can't hear you.
All right.
Ah,
All right. I'm unmuted. Yes, I think you can hear me. Good evening, Mr. Stephen. Good to see you. It's been an exciting session so far.
yes, it has.
With Mr. Fernandez. He has shared with us his journey into technology, into tech. And it's amazing to hear. The world as it is evolving very fast. And there was a time when strength used to be the numbers of swords and um, and spears that you had, and all sorts of armory that you had. At the time, the Romans were the world power. Before then it was just philosophy and um, all sorts of astrology, and then you had the Egyptians, ruling over the world. And then from there, this small island nation saw that, okay, we have water around us. We're a small nation, but let's see if we can work on building boats and ships, and then that empire, which we now call the British Empire at the time, now developed and built several boats and ships, and then they became the world power. So power now transferred from it's now moved from spears and horses and swords to the number of ships that you had. And at the time, Britain had the world. They were world powers. And then while that was going on, there's these two brothers, Orville and Wilbur, worked on a contraption, and then they flew it and it was working. They were like, oh, wow, so this can fly. And they became very curious, and then they worked on that idea. And then the US saw that, wow, this can be something that we can use and blow up. And that's how the US, invested in creating aircraft and manufacturing all sorts of aircraft. And then it became the world power. So before your boats and ships from England or from Britain or wherever, or Scotland, we get to America, I have used my aircraft to drop bomb all around your community. So it became the world power, And then from there, these other people came up and said, no, okay, if you can do this and it can fly really fast, what about rockets? What about nuclear weapons? And then somehow the Oppenheimers and the Albert Einsteins of the time developed, they worked on several theorems, and then from there, boom, we had nuclear weapons. So it became the country that had the most nuclear warheads became world powers, not necessarily because they are the biggest in size. Nigeria is bigger than so many world powers, if you're talking about landmass. But because of the nuclear warheads that they had, they became world power, And so you had the North Korea, you had the US, you had Russia, and these other countries becoming world powers because why? They realized that in that age, in that day and time, power was expressed by the number of nuclear warheads that you have. And then from there, you had the Satan 1, Satan 2 to Satan 4, and then you had several, and then from there, space technology became the in thing, and then it became a race to the moon. From there, now you have technology, all right? You have AI. That is where we are at right now. That is what power is defined by, and then you have countries jostling for the latest, for the best, for the fastest, for the most precise version of artificial intelligence and its application that you can find. And then you had the US with OpenAI, and then more recently, we had there was this DeepSeek. DeepSeek came out and just blew everybody out of the park. And you can see that this is where power really is now. The US, they are working on their own, right? That is actually the next. That is where we are going next. That is the future. Tech is now the future. Tech is now what world power is. The level of power you have as a human being in this universe right now is gauged by the amount of technology you have in your head, the amount of technical intelligence, the amount of intelligence on technology that you have and that you can manifest. And that is why this training and the mentorship program is really necessary. And I'm happy to be here to watch Mr. Fernandez and all other amazing speakers do their thing. So thank you so much, Mr. Stephen,
All
for
right.
having me.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's a privilege and honor to have you here. All right. We have one of the trainers who's going to be who is a software developer, Mr. Joshua Onyenwere. So I'm going to read a brief history about Mr. Joshua. Mr. Joshua is a skilled software engineer at Bikes 24, Germany. He works at Bikes 24. Bikes 24 is one of the biggest software development company in Germany. With extensive experience in building scalable and high-performance software solutions, his expertise lies in full-stack development, system architecture, cloud computing, AI integration, and modern web technologies, making him a valuable contributor to the global tech ecosystem. With a strong passion for problem-solving and innovation, Joshua has worked on diverse projects, leveraging cutting-edge technologies to develop robust, efficient digital solutions. Beyond his technical expertise, he is dedicated to mentoring and guiding aspiring tech professionals, helping them navigate the industry and build successful career. As a speaker in this virtual tech program, Joshua will share insight on software development. Most of us want to be software developers. We can hear from Mr. Fernandez. He said his story, he started from being a software developer. Today, like he said, he's swimming in millions. He's going to share insight on software development, best practices, career growth strategies, and the skills needed to thrive in today's competitive tech landscape. You agree with me, according to what the mechanic just said now. Currently, there's so much competition in the tech landscape because AI has come to actually create another form of revolution. So I want to welcome Mr. Joshua Onyenwere. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen, for the introduction. Yes. Oh, God. After listening to the two gentlemen who spoke, I began to question if I want to do presentation. But yeah, okay. I think I can't actually share my screen.
Sure.
Let's. But in the meantime, while you try to resolve it, I don't know if you can resolve it. I guess I would just talk. So, like the Honorable essay spoke earlier, I also started not as a tech person. Actually, while I was in Nigeria, I did several websites in WordPress as well. And after that, I moved to Europe to study international relations. So if you Google my name, you would find several videos on YouTube where I'm discussing international politics or international global affairs. But then, yeah, in Estonia, after my studies, I moved to Finland. And while in Finland, I was made to realize that if you are a foreigner in Finland, you would struggle with regards to getting jobs as a foreigner. You already have the bottleneck of the language, the cultural difference, the weather. And on top of that, there are kind of unspoken rules within the corporate, the companies where you hardly get a job. Most of the people at the time, most of the foreigners at the time were doing mostly food delivery, or actually at the time there wasn't even food delivery. It was mostly postage. So you deliver mails and newspapers, which I did. But at some point it became clear, having spent over 6,000 euros from moving to get the admission, I actually walked out of the school after 2 months because it was clear that there was no future in it. But luckily in Finland at the time, the government was pushing heavily for people to adopt tech. So I actually searched for a mentorship program. Actually, it wasn't a mentorship program. It was just a boot camp. I joined the boot camp, and it became clear what I wanted to do. So this touches on the topic of persistence. When it became clear, I did what is called sum cost in finance, I think. So sum cost basically means like think of it like I can't remember the company that was producing film. I think it was Nikon that was producing film for old cameras. And at some point, the pictures, the mobile phones could take pictures and save them, as a digital picture, digital image. And this ruined the companies, for most of the companies who were producing, the film. It's the same for the companies who were producing disc. I don't know if some of you know the disc at the time that was also phased out because of digital music, the MP3s. So the companies who were producing these things had to do a sum cost. If you don't do a sum cost and really look at how much you have lost, if you continue to produce the disc and how much you're going to lose and how you will get kicked out from the industry if you don't evolve. So I did a sum cost, and it was clear that I would lose the 6,000 euros, but it's for the best because then I can, mentally switch careers into tech. So that was the point where I took I took the tech thing seriously, and not just as something as a hobby, which I was doing back then in Nigeria, creating websites. So it became something serious. Anyways, the rest is history, like they say. But what I wanted to talk about mostly was, how the ecosystem is changing. A lot of things are changing. Also, one of the gentlemen mentioned AI. A lot is changing in the industry, but that also presents an opportunity. We all know the drawbacks that we have living in Nigeria, being in Nigeria, and all of the limitations with regards to government support that is not there in most of the cases. But the opportunities are endless. If you are seeking to get into tech, there are many opportunities out there. I remember when I lived in Nigeria at the time, hopeless and penniless. But actually, when I'm paid certain money, what I would do is I would go to Computer Village at the time and buy DVDs and check out what was in the DVD, because at the time internet was not that widespread as it is now. So I would buy DVDs and I would try to install and all of those things and do some of those things. The skills at the time was really beneficial, even while I was working in Nigeria as a video journalist, because I worked for the Chinese at the time. I was employed, and some months we wouldn't produce any videos. There would be no videos, and I will still get paid. And the reason I got paid was because my boss realized that my skills, even though I wasn't producing videos, I was fixing the computers, I was fixing, maintaining the softwares in the company, and a lot of things, providing consultation on several topics that are related to, IT infrastructure and systems. So the whole idea is that there is an opportunity out there, but unless you make yourself available, you would lose it. And what is it? Let's see. So here there is the projected global digital economy to reach 23 trillion by 2025, which is this year. So increasing demand for tech professionals across multiple sectors. These are the projections. Over 60% of the population of Nigeria are under 25 years old. Growing tech ecosystem with increasing startup investment. Anambra State recently did one summit, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, I actually applied. Unfortunately, they needed me to be there in person and I couldn't, so I couldn't present my idea. Lagos, like many of you know, there are already a tech hub in Lagos, which I think Anambra State is trying to replicate. Here's the funny thing. If you go now to the website of Imo State government, the website, there is a page where you would see where the state is supposed to offer, the state is supposed to offer the e-governance system. But unfortunately, they can't, because building an e-governance system is a very robust, extensive, time-consuming thing to do. So if you go to that page, you would see that if you click the link, it throws you either 404 or it just opens an empty page. I'm saying this to highlight the importance of the skills. If you have the skills, these are skills you can provide. I will give another instance of why the tech skills are so essential. So I recently bought a land in, or should I say a carcass, a property in Abuja. And while I was making videos about this property that I bought and my experience, because I know a lot of my friends who wanted to also buy the same, and I didn't want to tell all of them at the same time about the process and how it, what it took me. So I decided to make a YouTube video. I made a YouTube video, and at some point I realized that, okay, I needed to talk about the risk. I had talked about it, but I couldn't really verbally, put it out there. And I was really, really struggling. And then I thought that, okay, how about I create a website where I put out all my thoughts when it comes to the risks that are involved with buying a real estate in Nigeria as a Nigerian in diaspora. So I started to work on this website. I'm going to share it in the chat for anyone who is interested and wants to see it, and also the YouTube if you want to follow me. You can also find a video of me talking about tech, how to get into tech on my page. So what I realized was I needed to create a website to communicate the thoughts, the risks. And the past 4 days, I've been creating this website. And just today, I realized again that, look, it's impossible for some people to go to that website and get all the information. How about I provide an AI chatbot where they can ask the AI on the website the question, and the AI goes through the website and all the data that I would provide to the site and provide this information in a way that the person can understand, which is kind of the third iteration I'm going to do for the website. So this would be impossible if I haven't acquired the skills. And this is where the opportunity lies, where you could either be working for a company and get hit by an idea, and because you have the skill, you can create the thing. It's just like a farmer who needs to eat yam, and he just simply plants the yam, and he creates the yam, and then he have the yam, and the yam feeds him. So is the tech skills. And I mean, we are just talking about software engineering. There are many sectors in this ecosystem. You're talking about, we haven't even talked about infrastructure, or which is like, bare metal, where you build network system, or IoTs, where you build, mobile phones, or things like thumbprints to open doors. You probably would have seen it on a lot of videos where they say luxury apartment, luxury house. where you can open the door with your thumbprints. All of these are IoT, where you can talk to a system and the light goes off. These are IoTs, right? Or hardwares, electronics, like with solar system right now. These solar systems need programming. These solar systems themselves, you need, some skills to create them. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. I remember a Nigerian guy who was producing planes that was flying. He would just play with them, modify them, and he would fly them. At some point, he was invited by a company in Finland to come study in Finland. He lives in Finland today. This is a boy who couldn't speak English properly. I mean, he can speak English, but not like he wasn't even a university grad. He was even underage, if I'm not mistaken, probably 18 years old at the time. But today he lives in Finland. So there are lots of opportunities out there. There is blockchain for cryptography. I've talked about AI. Even in the ecosystem of AI, it's so broad. We're not even talking about AI anymore. We're talking about agentic AI, and we're talking, I mean, generative AI. It's moving so fast that all you need to do is catch one thing, and that one thing can open doors for you. Okay, so let me see what I haven't talked about. So the future of AI is there. For the Nigerian youth, let me say this. When I moved to Finland, I realized that I can't speak the language fluently. It takes at least 5 years to speak a language fluently. I'm saying this because this can be a strategy that you can also approach, or you can also adopt. I couldn't speak. It's impossible to speak the language fluently in less than 5 years, right? But it is possible to learn tech or a skills in tech for about 1,000 hours. Okay, 1,000 hours, if you break it down into university program, you could spread it to about 3.5 years, right? If I learned Finnish language or German language, I could speak it in 3.5 years, but it won't be fluent. And even when you speak, people would say, "Oh, you got it wrong. You're not speaking it. Oh, no, it's fake. You're not speaking it right." But in tech, when you know that skills, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the environment. When you write that code, it shows that you are experienced, and it shows that you can do what you say you can do. So I chose the path of least resistance. I chose to learn tech instead, and I committed to it. I had at the time, I had a timetable for myself, like I was in a university, and I had the courses that I had to do at a particular time, and I didn't extend even 5 minutes for any of the courses. When it reached the time, I stopped and I switched. When it was time to take a break, I took a break. So I approached it like I was in a university. And this is to emphasize, persistence and perseverance. And you have to have a routine and stick to your gun because you know what you want to achieve. There's a lot of talk about AI right now. I would really, really recommend a lot of Nigerians, if you can, you know, uh, get some things running in AI. Create collaboration, create a group of friends where you all can talk about it. One of the problems that I have seen when it comes to software engineering or software development, especially from speaking with, I mean, like I mentioned, I have a YouTube channel where I actually taught AI, and I can say in most of the videos, probably only one Ghanaian lady is the only person who is currently working as a software engineer today. There are some who are now inspired and getting into school to get into tech. But the reason I'm saying this is because when you want to get into tech, you have to talk to yourself, and I would explain what I'm trying to say. I remember when I started, and I would be learning CSS or HTML, and then someone would say to me, "Why are you learning HTML and CSS? That's easy now. You should go and learn JavaScript. JavaScript is the main thing, you know." And I would jump on that. And while I'm learning JavaScript, someone else will come and say, "Why are you learning JavaScript? JavaScript is like, nah, go and learn Java." And then I will jump on that. And then someone else will come and say, "Why are you learning Java? Java is, nah, go and learn C++." And then I would jump on that. At the end of the day, I was doing everything but doing nothing, And one of the thing that was reoccurring was the fact that I wanted to outshine somebody rather than learn the skills for myself. So it's like, if I learn CSS now, if I learn JavaScript, I'll be better than that person. Even if the person is the one teaching me, the person where they teach me, I want to outshine the person by learning the harder one. And this is the mindset that a lot of people have in tech, a lot of tech enthusiasts have. You want to outshine the person who is teaching you, but you don't realize that maybe the reason why that person is learning that thing is because, and not learning the one you want to outshine, is because the entry barrier with regards to getting into that language is so much more higher than the one he is doing. And if you put your head there, you hit rock bottom, So what I would advise is be certain about what you want to do. There are many sectors in the tech. If you want to focus on building mobile app and you're passionate about building mobile app, focus on that. If you want to focus on, like, your dream is to build this, desktop application, channel your energy to that. If it is mobile, if it is web app, channel your energy into that, but be clear about what you want. And as much as possible, you pay no attention to the noises. You will have a lot of noise. People who are in the business of making your business their business will come and try to ruin the whole thing for you. So as much as possible, just focus on what you want to do. Pay no attention to the noise, to people who want to tell you Java is old school, but JavaScript is the best. No language is the best. It all comes down to what you want to do. If you want to work in the web, there is the language of the web. If you want to build desktop applications, there is the language for building desktop applications. If you want to build even a financial system, there is a language for building financial system. If you want to build softwares for AI, there's a language for building AI softwares. So it comes down to what you want to do, and be honest with yourself. Be, as much as possible, as much as you want to keep learning this thing a secret, so that, this is important, so that if you fail, nobody will laugh at you. If you do that, that is a trap. And it's a trap that positions you for failure. You will never achieve this tech dream if you want to keep it secret. Nobody goes to a university and graduates as in secret. You go to a university and you announce that, look, I'm in a university of, UNN, I'm in Unilag. But now you want to learn tech and you want to keep it secret. You will not succeed, because to learn tech, you need the community to succeed. You need a community to succeed. You need someone you can talk to when you hit rock bottom and say, look, I've been cracking my head for the past 5 days to get this thing, but I can't. And the person will be like, I had the same problem 2 weeks ago, and this was how I solved it. And then you both rub minds and work together and find a solution, and you both get better. This is how you do it in a university. Why do you expect it to be different in tech? You need a community. The community can be in YouTube, it can be Udemy courses or Coursera, it can be solo learn, but you need a community. This is why a lot of platforms today where they teach, things, even if, tech related things, they build a community around them. When you join, when you're watching a video, they tell you, please join the Discord channel so you can get more ideas. You can brainstorm with other people. So don't try to learn or get into tech in secret because you don't want people to laugh at you when you fail. No, make it loud. Make it loud so that when you fail, you know you need to get back in. You know you need to get back in. I was jobless when I was learning tech. I was really jobless when I was learning tech. I said to myself, I will go back to Nigeria rather than, wash plates and deliver postie anymore to any house in Finland at the time, So, and I was determined. In fact, my residence permit expired when I was flying to Austria, because I got a job at the time to fly to, and I was flying to Austria. I got to the airport and they said my residence permit had expired. It's like, what? So I had to use the residence permit of Estonia to travel. Yeah, and that was the determination I had at the time. Okay, so I think I would rest it here. And if anyone has a question, please feel free to ask. And yeah, thank you very much all for listening, and thank you for the opportunity to share with you.
Thank you, Mr. Joshua. That was a wonderful session. I'm sure you had some technical glitches. That's why you are not able to share your presentation.
Yes. I tried sharing it, but I couldn't do that. I'm not sure why. But yeah.
Okay, so right. All right. I'm sure we enjoyed our session. If we have any question for Mr. Joshua, Mr. Joshua is a renowned software developer. He's a mentor. He's someone who has trained a lot of people in software engineering. You can ask him now. You can put it on the comment section. Okay, you can put it in the comment section and I will read it out. Okay. Someone is asking, Mr. Kelv is asking, how can we join this mentorship? All right, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. You are in the right place. I would answer that question. But I want us to ask more questions regarding from some of us here who are interested in software development, who are currently in the sector. Like you've heard, Mr. Joshua was in Finland. After staying in Finland for a couple of years, he moved down to Germany. So he's someone who has worked with multinational companies, has displayed his skill. He's been flying the Nigerian flag here. So if you have questions regarding how to navigate the tech ecosystem when it comes to being a software engineer, you can ask the question. So the question, how can we join his mentorship? All right. At the end of this program, we are going to have you are going to have to apply for the mentorship because the mentorship is Mr. Joshua is quite a busy person, so he wants to receive the best of the best. Everybody wants to be in something that is good, but you have to qualify to be there. And one of the criteria to being in Mr. Joshua's mentorship camp is your participation in this program, your attendance in this program. That is one of the criteria. So as the program goes on from tomorrow and next tomorrow, we're going to give you some of the criteria for you to qualify to be in his mentorship. So for those of you that wants to jackpot, for those of you that have the plans in the pipeline, because I know that 99% of Nigerian youths want to travel out of the country. But the question is, it's not about traveling out of the country. It's about you have to prepare. The things I know now, if I knew them maybe 6 years ago when I was in Nigeria, I think I would have been far ahead of where I am right now, because it's better you learn that test skill in Nigeria than thinking you can learn it here in the diaspora. Because here in the diaspora, you are paying rent every month. You bills are choking. You are paying tax. You are paying like 30% of your salary goes for tax. So this is the right time. Now that you're in Nigeria, is the perfect time for you to learn that tech skill. Right, Mr. Joshua, uh, I I think I have some questions. Let me ask. Okay. This question is from Marvelous Agbruku. He says, sir, what would be your best advice for someone who is already in tech industry, focusing on being a front-end developer? I would love to be one of your students. Okay. This is to you, Mr. Joshua. We have Marvelous is saying that he is very much interested in the tech industry. He's focusing on being a front-end developer. He would love to be one of your students.
Yes, I think, Mr. Stephen, you have the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work full stack, both front end and back end, and of course, about 60% at the moment front end, and 40, maybe 30% back end, and the rest, like 10%. There's a lot to programming when you get into it. But yeah, I think Mr. Stephen can explain the process once again,
Okay.
and I'm more than happy to help anyone who wants to get into tech.
All right. Okay, this is from Nelson Agbada. He said, I'm self-training cybersecurity enthusiast domiciled in Abakaliki, Nigeria. So with your exposure, you must have made friends in my field. I need a mentor to help me shape my journey. I have specialty in digital forensics, and I am in identity access management. Wow, Mr. Nelson, you're actually you're at the right place, because in this place we have cybersecurity specialists. I myself am a cloud engineer. I'm also a data engineer because I'm well certified in Azure. I'm an Azure certified administrator. So I have the Microsoft certified administrator certificate. So you are in the right place. And this, your combination, cybersecurity and identity access management, this is a strong combination currently. So you are in the right place, you are in the right hands. Tomorrow we'll be having a senior cybersecurity specialist taking one of the sections. So this person is Microsoft recognized. I believe you should be here tomorrow to have to be in his session, because his session is going to be so impactful to you. We have other questions. This person is saying, well, Alicia is said, I am an amateur front-end developer. I want to know if I should just focus on the exact phase or do back-end at the same time and go online with both, or at least complete at least 70% of professionalism before embarking on the journey of back-end. Mr. Joshua, this is for you. I had this issue myself because I was at one point trying to. I even went for a mentorship program, an internship as a back end developer. Then, even though I
Yeah.
started as a front end developer, but at some point, the whole thing, back end guys and front end guys. So please clear our doubts. Uh, Elisha wants to know if he should focus on his front end or back end.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Sure. This is actually an easy one, surprisingly. Uh, if you are in a rush to get a job, you will get a job quickly with the front end skills. Quickly. Or should I say not quickly, but the chances of getting a job earlier than the other is possible with front end. And the reason is because when it comes to back end, it's much more sophisticated and robust in the sense that you need to consider a lot of stuffs. Like cybersecurity, for instance, you will be interfacing with a lot of cybersecurity stuff because you need to know what are the methods of hacking, what are the methods of protecting your website, and all of that. You are going to be working on a data layer. So it's a data layer. But with front end, you will be working on a visual layer. So you can see, you want to create a button, you want to create a component, you can see what you want to do. And you immediately get a feedback. With the back end, you are not going to see anything colorful. There's nothing colorful in the back end. So this is why for a lot of people, it's often quite difficult getting into getting a job in the back end because you have those with university degrees with 10 years experience, 5 years experience, and most companies will not give you a job as an entry level for a back end, especially when the company is a startup, which most companies are startup today. They're not going to give you a job as a back-end developer because they would consider someone with a university degree, because when it comes to back-end, you program or you write code based on standards, based on industry standard, based on programming paradigm. You are not guessworking. You're not like, maybe, this will work. No, you need to know what you want to do. You need to know what you're doing. And that's why most companies would employ easily someone who has a front-end experience than with the back end. So if you don't have an experience, the chances of getting a job as a front end is much more, especially for entry level, it's much more possible with front end than with back end. So, but if you are patient and you think long term and you really want to get into back end, then and you're not in a rush to get a job, then you can do back end. You can focus on learning all the programming paradigms out there. And since you're dealing with data, you need to understand algorithms as well, and a lot of stuff that you need to learn when you want to do back end. Think about it. What is the backend? Backend is a lot of stuff. For those of you who already tried it, you would understand that a part of backend is also networking. Of course, you do networking in front end as well, but majority of the backend stuff is networking. You get data, you put, break down the data, you extract all the thing, and you need to consider filtering and all of that thing to be sure that nobody is sending scripts that would, destroy your backend. So, so this is why it's possible. My advice would be, if you already started back end, but you feel like you need to, get a job as quickly as possible, then spend a little time with front end, create some stuffs with the front end, because that's another thing. With the back end, what will you show to a potential employer? What are you going to show? An API? You can't show an API. I mean, if you show an API, someone else is going to show a complete application. But a front-end guy can show 5 portfolios that they have created. So that's the thing, So yeah, this is just my 2 cents when it comes to that. There's a lot of opportunities in backend as well. But one of the things that is happening right now is that a lot of backends are not requiring you to know JavaScript or TypeScript. They're requiring you to know Python or Java. If it is Java, then just forget it. They will take a university graduate with experience before they take you. But if it's Python, the possibility is there, but they would also take someone with AI experience before they take you. So yeah, you just need to weigh, evaluate them.
All right. Thank you very much, Joshua. I believe Joshua has answered your question. We have another question from Evangelist Efe. You said I had a plan to register for an online design school. I don't know if it's possible for a novice like me to just register under a personal teacher, or I should go for the online school to get a foundational knowledge first. Well, I can answer that. You already answered yourself. See, the what we all have to understand about the tech industry and the journey in tech is that these two things that you are comparing in this your question are not mutually exclusive. You can register for an online school and also have someone that is ahead of you, like a mentor teaching you, because at the end of the day, most of the things that happen, most of the learning that happens in the tech industry are self-paced learning. They are personal learning. Even when you, if you have a mentor, even if you have him as a mentor today, he's not going to sit down with you and your laptop to start teaching you, okay, how to do the design from A to Z. No, he's just going to be like an accountability partner, someone who is watching you, someone who is making sure that he's putting you on your toes, someone who is making sure that you are disciplined and consistent in what you say you would do. Because one thing is for us to have big visions and goals, and the other thing is for us to have the persistence and the consistency to remain on the path. Because one thing I can assure you is that the journey in the for this like the journey is a journey of lifelong learning. Like you have to consistently learn. You have to consistently learn, even when you don't have a job, even when it seems that your friends that started learning with you, maybe they got a job before you, even when you are better than them. That's how it is. There's no point in time where you will just need a mentor and you will not have other platforms where you learn from. I've done multiple Udemy courses. I've done Coursera courses. I've done a lot of paid courses. I've done a lot of YouTube courses, and I have mentors as well. The reason why you are doing those courses is that so that when you are going to speak with your mentor is impressed by your wealth of knowledge. He knows that you are ready because everybody wants to be mentored by someone who is doing well. Oh, you see me today, I'm working in a tech company, I'm a tech bro, I have a nice car. Yeah, you want to affiliate yourself with me, right? That's the way it works. But the truth is that I the time that I will spend with you is based off how I see you. If I see that you are an intellectual person, that you have what do you call it? You see, when you see footballers like Lamine Yamal, you see a footballer like Lamine Yamal, big clubs want to sign him because they are seeing that this guy has a lot of prospects. He has a very high ceiling. He can do. Imagine what he's doing at the age of 17. So that's how it is also for me. For me to mentor someone, I have to look for someone who I know that in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years, I'll be proud of who this person will be. You understand? So you are coming to meet him now. You want to learn Java. You want to become a software developer, and you've not done any course on like you've not bought any Udemy course. Udemy courses are like an average of 6 to 7,000. You've not sacrificed your 7,000 to buy an Udemy course. You've not done any YouTube. You don't even understand the fundamentals. That's a problem. That's a problem because you have to help yourself first. Everybody that is in the tech industry, no mentor took them from scratch and made them who they are. It's a lie. Nobody. Even if your brother is Jeff Bezos or Mark Zuckerberg, he will not sit you down to teach you how to code. So you need to have plethora of platforms where you are learning, where you are doing the stuff you are doing. YouTube is there. YouTube is there for a reason. Spend less time on Instagram, all this TikTok, all this stuff. At the end of the day, they would not matter. What matters is the skill set that you have. So you can register for the online school and also be in a mentorship group. That would go very well. That will go very well. That will go well. Okay, we have for those that are asking if you can join a platform right now and you can join. There's a WhatsApp group that you can join now regarding the mentorship program. You can join the WhatsApp now before it gets filled up because the reason why today we don't have large number of persons today is because the emails we sent out entered a lot of people's spam folder. And so by tomorrow, that will be resolved. So we are going to have up to 1,000 persons by tomorrow because the number of persons that are registered are almost 2,000. So by tomorrow, we have other great speakers. We have, like I said earlier, we have a senior cybersecurity specialist. We have a blockchain, a blockchain specialist as well. We have other software developers. We have data engineers. We have project managers. We have data analysts as well. For those of us that are aspiring data analysts, wanting to learn data analysis, we have quite some technical hitches today. I'll show you that by tomorrow, we should have resolved every technical issue you have. We'll actually go deep into the learning and everything. So please, okay, Mr. Joshua just gave a link to his PowerPoint here because he had a PowerPoint just because of the technical hitches we had. He couldn't project it. So you can go to the link and you can access the PowerPoint presentation that I have. And there's also a WhatsApp link there where you can join so that we can give you the communication regarding how the mentorship program is going to be. For those of us that are not interested in software development, you can also join the link because we have mentors for data analysis. We have those that want to learn Power BI, data visualization tool. We have mentors for that. For those that want to learn cyber security, I already saw one person said he wants to cyber security. We're having them tomorrow, at the same time tomorrow. So you can also join the link as well. You are quite lucky because today we are not more. By tomorrow we should be up to 1,000. So the WhatsApp link should be filled. So it's first come, first serve. All right. So Mr. Joshua, do you have any parting words for those? Because the questions are quite much. I'm seeing one other question here from someone. I think I missed it. Okay. All right. Do you have any parting words for us regarding what your people can do in preparation for your mentorship?
Yes, so if you, like you already mentioned, please already have one leg in the house before the meeting, because it's really helpful if you are already taking the step to get into the industry. And one thing I also want to emphasize here is a little bit about the history of the web. The whole idea of the web started from a university in a way to, transfer information. And today the web is so big that you have, games, you have e-commerce, you have different stuffs in the web. And this is why, in an age of information overload, it makes sense to have a system that sieves out all the information and you can just focus on the actual thing that you want. And this was one of the reasons they created AI. So a lot of the chat AI platforms, what they give to you is they give you concise answer, tailor-made answer to what you are asking for. So what I would advise is please, as much as possible, use these AIs to ask questions and as much as possible, bootstrap your steps towards becoming a software engineer. This is one of the biggest skills that you would appreciate. A lot less of Google search, and more of AI to get exactly what you want. Because then you start to become much more focused, much more precise, and the AI would guide you to also gaining the relevant skills that you need. And a lot of the members already spoke, use a lot of skills, use a lot of the tools online. Coursera is there. If you don't know, Coursera charges more here. Down there, Coursera, I don't know if you know, if you buy Coursera in Nigeria, they charge you like 15,000 or 20,000. Here, they would charge almost 70 euros or 50 euros just for a course that they are charging quite cheap down in Nigeria. So, because they understand, so use those tools. And I think I would also provide some links during the course of the mentorship. But please be serious. know that this is what you want to do. I have trained a lot of people who, at the end of the day, they just go back to what they're doing. So I would like you to be much more, serious and be determined. And yeah, and then it is possible. Let's make magic happen.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Joshua. It's been an impactful session today. All right. Like I said earlier, we are going to have more better session tomorrow. We have we have two different speakers tomorrow. And like I said earlier as well, one of the criteria to be qualified to be in the mentorship is attendance. So I expect to see every one of us tomorrow. And we are not using African man time. As we said on the flyer that the program is going to end by from 8:30 to 9:30. So it's 9:30 at the dot. I don't know if Mr. Odogu, the president of Southern Nigeria Youth Congress, has anything to say before we say good night.
Okay. There isn't much to be said. I want to appreciate all the speakers. Thank you, Mr. Stephen, the mechanic, Onyenwere. It's quite impactful and essential for that we share. I look forward to more knowledge we'll be giving tomorrow. So thank you all. Thank you all for joining. God bless you. Good night.
All right. See you all tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Mr. Joshua.